Gosh, it's just so.
Sorry, guys. Technology. Mary and I are good at real estate and mortgages. We promise, just not technology.
The only thing is I get on so many Zoom calls, and I don't think we do it any worse than anybody else. So.
Fair enough. So let's talk about what we are here for, Mary. What's going on in the real estate world?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So it has been so busy, and I think you've been really busy too, as I saw one of your Facebook posts that you had something like 60 loan applications you were working on.
Yeah, just that day, I was like unrealistically hoping to get through all of them. I got through like 4.
How does that even happen? That's like crazy. That's just
the way it happens is that Tracy and I both work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we hire more people. So yesterday we just finalized 2 more people we're hiring. So they'll start in a couple of weeks. We'll train them, and then life will be better.
Wow. So how many people do you have on your team now?
So there's 3 of us now, and then when we have the 2, it'll be 5. But one of the girls that we have now will be leaving, so there'll be some overlap, and then we'll be back to 4. So 2 on the processing side, 2 on the sales side. So basically, it'll balance. So that should be good. That should help move things along.
There's one thing on here that I don't know quite how to. Oh. I'm just trying to think. So if Jerry sends me a message, because we actually have Jerry kind of moderating questions in the background, I'm just trying to see how I'm going to see that. But Jerry,
I've got my chat open. I can. Oh no, but if you screen share, then it closes. Yeah, just go ahead, screen share, jump into it, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, let's jump into it. And Jerry, if you have a question come in, I don't know. I've got my phone next to me, and hopefully I'll see it and whatever. I don't know. So anyway, okay, let's jump in. Let's not waste any more time. So this is the thing that we have been that I have been sharing on every month. We go and I share this this market update that we get from the MLS. Why are you giggling?
I love it. I'm a data geek, so I love the spreadsheets and the graphs and the charts. So for me, this is always exciting. This is the highlight because I know what I feel. I feel busy. I feel like literally September was the most loans I've ever closed in my entire career in the period of 1 month. So I know what I feel, but I love to see the data matching up, or supporting, or sometimes it shows that it's different because sometimes my personal trends are different. Like this month I have 2 renovation loans, for instance, and sometimes that market of clients looking for fixer-uppers doesn't trend with the standard market. So yeah, I'm just excited to see the data.
What I was going to say is, so this is the first graph, and it's showing, and this is a week by week. They update this every week. And the blue bar, the powder blue, is this year, and the green bar is last year. So they're comparing last year, and this is like so interesting to me. You can see at the beginning, and this only goes back 6 months. So sadly, we've been involved in the pandemic for more than 6 months now. But you can see how the market had been down because of the pandemic. But look how we've come back. I mean, this is so interesting that we are so far ahead of last year in terms of closed listings.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about before, it seems like things have just shifted because usually by September things have slowed down, but because people were on pause in March and April, those people just pushed things to later. So we're seeing in September what we usually see in maybe July. So yeah.
I mean, we're not seeing it so much in closed listings. These are properties that have actually gone under contract. And I mean, we are so far ahead of last year. It's not even funny. Again, the powdered blue is current, and 2019 is the green.
And especially August. I think one thing that happened this year is August is usually slow because a lot of people go on vacations. And with the pandemic, less people went on vacation. So they just moved forward with their other plans. And of course, the rates being low is motivating a lot of people to still buy. So yeah, this is a lot higher than I expected compared to last year, even for into September.
And then the next, and I'll show you this in a minute, and this is why we're so busy. I mean, there's not that many new people coming. I mean, we've got all these properties that are going under contract. We don't have that many new properties coming on the market. We're basically neck and neck with what was happening last year. I mean, here in the spring, April, May, we were down obviously because of the pandemic, but we had the same number of people coming on the market now that were coming on in 2019. And
so how is that possible? Was that just last year had longer market times, or?
Well, I mean, no, what I'm saying is, but look at look how many more properties are going under contract as opposed to last year. So that's that.
But how are there more properties going under contract if there's the same number of listings? It's just a higher percentage. So so last year when there were listings, some of them were just sitting, not going under contract.
Right. So here we
this year, as soon as they list, they're going under contract pretty quickly in most cases.
Right. Okay, so these are the new listings. These are the rented listings. I don't know. I guess those are properties that are actually, I don't really want to get into this, but here, open houses. So this was 4th of July. This was Labor Day, but obviously lots of open houses going on. Agents like doing open houses. And then this is the last chart I like to show, and that is the number of showings. So again, 4th of July, it's pretty seasonal. Labor Day, showings are down. But,
interesting. I was actually thinking we might see that because I've had some of my other real estate agents I work with complaining that they are starting to slow down on their showings, and they're worried that they're not going to have as many closings in October, November, and December. So the data does show that it's not just those agents. Overall, the showings have slowed down.
Slowed down a little bit, right, yeah. I mean, so it is kind of a seasonal thing. Oh, and then this is I wanted to show how prices have gone up. So again, the powder blue is current. So in 2020, the median price was this is for all of Chicagoland, was $268, and in last year it was $220. So that's like almost a 20% increase. The difference between the bar charts and the line is what the lines are average and the bar charts are the median. So median is exactly the same number of sales below the median prices or are above, whereas average takes all the data and averages it out. But
a huge jump. That's much higher than an average value increase for 1 year, right?
I mean, this is almost a 20% increase, and I want to go to
historically, don't values go up on average 3% per year?
I don't know. It's hard to say, right?
And I know different markets are different, but that seems much higher than I've ever seen in the past.
It is pretty stunning, and let me get this out of the way. So this is, what did I do here? Oh, these are the closed sales. Again, this is for all of, can you see the info sparks? Are you guys seeing the info sparks? Okay, good. So this is for, again, the primary metropolitan statistical area. And this is all price ranges, single family, whether it's a condo or a detached townhouse, whatever. And this is showing the number of sales again, but we were talking about sales price. So the median was $250 in June, and now it's up to $257. So that's a 3%.
So 3 months.
Right there.
And you can see from 17, 18, 19, it's a much more gradual incline.
Right.
And it's right up. Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, so this is showing that there's almost a 5% increase from August. This is August 2020. It's showing a 5% increase from August of 19. And you asked about market times. So the market times are actually increasing here in January, which is interesting, 75 days.
Right, which is typical for winter.
Yeah, and now they've actually gone up. They've gone up a little bit, but I don't know, they're taking, this is a very broad, we would have to drill into, we can drill into specific.
I mean, it's definitely higher than it was in 2018 though. Sorry, I'm thinking through this. So that part from a few months ago though was similar to 2018, but now it's gone up.
So this is actually North Center. I took a specific neighborhood
Oh, okay.
showing North Center. Well, you know, these market times are, you know, I mean, it's interesting. I'm surprised to see them that high, but I think if you went
But
in,
lower than 2018.
yes, yeah.
But so what is this one? This is all of Chicagoland?
This is all of, yeah, all of Chicagoland.
Which I think is really difficult to lump because the neighborhoods are so different. I mean, if you're looking at South Side versus North Side versus suburbs, I mean, there's so many different trends.
I want to just pull up Lincoln Square just for fun to see what's going on in Lincoln Square. So, interesting. April, the market times were 62. I mean, you know, we're not talking, the difference between 67 days and 62 days is not really meaningful, I don't think. But anyway, let's go back to, let's not get into the weeds, Marla, like you and I like to do.
Yeah.
And then the last where I like to look at is a month's supply of inventory. And this really tells a story right here. I mean,
oh, wow.
When months of supply is how long it takes, how much inventory you have versus how many properties are going under contract. And anytime you have under 6 months, and we haven't had over 6 months supply inventory in years, literally. The rule of thumb is that you're in a seller's market. So I think that's really interesting.
So if there's any sellers out there, we need you. We need houses to sell to balance the market back off.
And there's no reason not to come on the market, right? Prices are up, inventory is down.
Yeah. So basic supply and demand, when you have a lot of buyers and not that many sellers, you're going to sell for a higher price. So anyone thinking of selling, that's great. As far as buyers, it's not a problem for buyers either because interest rates are so low that it really offsets it. I mean, buying a house for a slightly higher price at a lower interest rate is probably still going to yield a lower monthly payment than a lower purchase price and a higher interest rate. Of course, it depends exactly what the prices and rates are, but it shouldn't scare buyers off. I've heard some people saying they wonder with prices increasing so much if there's going to be a bubble. My personal opinion, I think absolutely not, because for a bubble, we would have to change that dynamic of more listings and less buyers. But the other thing, which I think we talked about a few calls ago, is that what happened last time when there was a bubble is that the values declined, and so people were underwater. So when we hit the recession and people were in financial hardship, the value of their home was actually less than it was worth, so they couldn't sell it. So
right.
If people do get in financial hardship this time, they can just sell their home because like 90-some%, I forget the exact statistic, but over 90% of Americans have tons of equity in their home. So if you get in financial hardship, you could sell it. So I don't see on the forecast that many like foreclosure, short sales, things like that. And I don't see a bubble because we still have such little inventory. You know, once more houses are available for sale, that balances the buyers, we're fine. But it's if the buyers slow down that could happen. And I don't see that. I have buyers calling left and right still. So as long as rates stay low, you know, the Feds that they're planning on rates staying low until 2023. So as long as rates stay low, the real estate market, I think, is going to stay very strong and values will continue to go up. My personal opinion, you know, caveat.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, obviously, if we all had crystal balls, right, we wouldn't be selling real estate. We'd be doing whatever we'd be doing. But
right. But when we compare to the data from the previous.
Although I'm not sure that that's true. I think even if I had a crystal ball, I'd still be selling real estate. But what I was going to say is that the other thing that I'm seeing, and we've talked about this too, is about the bifurcation of incomes. And you know, you have a large segment of the population that people are definitely being impacted by the pandemic. You know, hospitality workers, etc. But then there's a whole other layer of society, and like my son's friends, for instance, you know, he's what do you call him, a Gen Xer. So they're kind of middle management, and they're all working at home. They're kind of cooped up. They don't have places to go out and eat. There's no concerts or shows to go to. So they're sucking money away. They're paying down debt. They're prepaying on their mortgages. And they got plenty of money. They're looking for places to spend their money. So
the ones that still have jobs, right? So
they still have jobs. Absolutely. In fact, they're probably working harder than they've ever worked. I don't know.
In some sectors, right? But some sectors are slowed down, and we've heard there's going to be even more problems in, like, for instance, airlines. United Airlines is right downtown Chicago. They said they were going to lay off, what did they say, 25,000 people?
I know, right?
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's certain sectors that are clearly being severely hit by the pandemic, but then
that actually does also drive real estate needs, because those people may be downsizing and ready to sell their place and get something smaller, until their income rebounds. So everyone is affected by real estate, whether they're doing well or doing poorly. I mean, a lot of the non-financial reasons, I'm sure you're hearing people are saying, oh, I need more space now that I'm working from home and my kids are learning from home. We need more space. So a lot of people are expanding, or, they want more outdoor space to feel safer. So yeah, a lot of reasons why people
in the North Shore market, which has been in the doldrums for the last probably 5 years or longer, has just done a huge rebound, because again, that segment of the market, they're not worried about their income. They're not worried about their jobs. They've got money. They want space. They want a swimming pool.
People had been thinking about moving already anyway, but once the rates got low, that was a trigger, like maybe we should bump up our schedule. They weren't in a hurry, and now they want to take advantage of the good rates.
Right. So anyway, Marla, you wanted to show I had asked Marla to talk about the truth in lending statement. Did you want me to screen share this thing that you sent over? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me first pull it up. If you got some remarks you'd like to maybe start with. And I'll.
People often focus on the interest rates. When they call me and other loan officers, the first question a lot of people ask is, what's the interest rate? What's the interest rate? And what a lot of people don't realize is that the interest rate and the closing costs are interrelated to each other. So on the first picture, you can get standard closing costs and a standard interest rate. But Mary, if you scroll up, you can see that you can get lower closing costs for a higher interest rate, or lower interest rate for a higher closing cost. And so that's what the truth in lending tries to balance. It tries to show you what your overall cost is, because a lot of people will say, oh, I called this great lender and they gave me really low rate. But when you look at those disclosures, you see that the fees are substantially higher than, other lenders. And so really, you're not necessarily getting a better deal. You're just choosing on this scale which of those options you want. Now, good loan officers can show you all the options rather than just telling you, okay, here's the best rate and done with it. They will show you and give you the option. What do you prefer? Do you prefer the lowest rate and the lowest monthly payment and higher costs? Or are you tight on your cash to close and you prefer lower closing costs and a higher rate? And they can show you a side-by-side comparison of those various options. So the truth in lending document, most people are really confused by it. And the reason for that is because it's really confusing.
It's a government document.
It's a government document. It's designed by politicians, not financial people. So what they're doing is, the interest rate is the actual interest rate. But what they have is this formula called the APR. And what that tries to do is take into account the rate and the cost. So if you have a low rate but higher cost, it will show that in the APR, because that's adding in those costs and backing it all in together. So when you're looking at that APR, if the APR is higher than the other option, even if the interest rate is lower, it means that overall you're paying more. And that's what they want to show you. The other thing to know about closing costs is that in the beginning, a lot of those are estimates, because we as lenders don't know yet which title company will be picked, what the title fees are, what insurance you're going to pick, what your insurance costs are. There's a lot of numbers that are estimates. So when you're looking at comparing lenders and looking at those estimates, you may say, oh, well, this lender has really high title fees. I don't want to go with that. Well, that's just an estimate. You don't want to compare those, because the title fees will be the same no matter what lender you go with, but those initial estimates will be different. So if you're doing apples to apples, you only want to compare the lender specific fees, which are the origination fees. And so that's what you're looking at. The origination fees and the interest rate is where you're really comparing apples to apples.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's the general gist of it, but people get really confused because they're like, oh, I got a really low rate, and they don't know to look at the cost.
Right. Well, it's almost kind of like a gotcha. It's kind of like a bait and switch, right? I mean, it's to get you to, it's to get you to, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Right. Yeah, and I don't want to name names, but there are definitely some lenders that are notorious for that, and they advertise all over, we have the best rates, and they have these ridiculously high fees. Like every time a client calls me, say, I'm comparing, say, okay, send me the disclosures you got from the other lenders so I can do apples to apples, and the fees are sky high with certain lenders that are notorious for that.
Right. Well, I mean, is there kind of something that if a buyer is calling around shopping rates, is there maybe a couple of questions or a document that they should request?
Yeah, so the official document that shows it all is called the loan estimate. And so you could take the loan estimate and put it side by side, but again, just look at that origination fee section. Disregard everything else, because everything else will be the same no matter which lender you have, but the estimates will be different, especially if it's like a national lender that's not local. They don't know our local fees. They'll estimate the title fees at like $1,000, which is, I mean, in Chicago, they're like usually at least 3,000, and so they don't know. And so they're giving you these ballpark estimates that are completely out of line, and you think you're getting a better deal. And then what happens is you get to the closing table and they say, oh, you need $2,000 more money because you didn't get a proper estimate. So personally, I'm a fan of working with local lenders because they know our fees, they know our nuances, they know that we use attorneys. Some states don't even use attorneys. Right. We have tax prorations, which is a credit the seller gives the buyer for their share of taxes. That's not common in other states. So I guess there's a couple of factors you want to know. One is you really do want a fairly accurate estimate of all of the costs, so you actually know how much money you need to bring so you can prepare. But when you're comparing, is it a quote unquote good deal, you just want to look at the origination fees from the lender and the interest rates.
Gotcha. Now, I had always understood that when a buyer makes a loan application and you're required to provide them with a truth in lending statement, that when you get to the closing, the fees that are quoted on that truth in lending, you can't really vary from those.
So some of those. So first of all, the disclosure they look at now is the loan estimate. They've kind of updated them and changed some of the names. So you have the loan estimate up front, and then you have the closing disclosure at closing. Okay. Some of the fees cannot increase. So the lender fees, I can't tell you my processing and underwriting fees are $1,400, and then at closing charge you $3,000. Some of them, they can obviously go down. They just can't go up. Right. But other fees that are third-party fees, like the title fees, those can change because we're not obligated to give you correct fees because we don't know what they are. We're not the title company. And at the time you go under contract, we don't even know who the title company is. So that's where a lot of those out-of-state lenders will come in with, oh, it's $1,000 for title fees, and it's not. And they can charge the higher amount because that's not a fee that's under their control. They just can't increase their fees that are under their control once you're locked. Gotcha. Good. Well, I don't see that any questions have come in about that, but obviously if people have questions and want to reach out to Marla afterwards, I think her contact information is pretty readily available, but maybe Marla, if somebody has a question, you can, what's your contact info? Yeah, I mean, I can also drop it under this video, but yeah, email's the best way to reach me, which is my first name, Marla, Marla, .barch, BARCH, at myccmortgage.com. And that's C as in cat, which stands for cross country, which is my company, and cross country mortgage. Okay. Marla.barch at myccmortgage.com, but I will drop it in the comments below if anyone has any questions. Happy to answer them.
Yeah, good, good. Well, anyway, we're moving into fall markets. Believe it or not, the end of the month is here, so I'm sure we're all going to be busy with closings,
Mhm.
and fall begins. October begins the end of the week, and
Yeah.
we will be back again next month, the fourth Monday of the month, and
Seasonality. A lot of people like to buy in the spring. So if any viewers out there are thinking, oh, I might buy in the spring, and you might think, oh, well, I don't need to do anything till the spring. I actually recommend people talk to their loan officer 6 months before they're ready to buy. 3 to 6 months, but 6 months is good, because then if there's any recommendations of things you can do to improve your qualifications, boost your credit, shift some debt around, save a little more money, whatever the recommendation is, you have that time to get yourself lined up, and you can get an initial idea of what price point you qualify in. So if you're starting to keep an eye on the market to know, okay, what houses can I buy at this price point, you can get all that lined up 3 to 6 months in advance. So when it comes to spring, you know for sure that you qualify. There aren't any surprises that the numbers you were thinking or the houses you wanted aren't within your budget. So anyone thinking about buying in spring, you can definitely get that ball rolling now.
yeah, that's a really good point. And ditto for a seller. If you're thinking about putting your house on the market in the spring, now's a great time to reach out and find out. Compass has this concierge program. I did a segment on that of maybe a month or so ago on the concierge program. Time to think about decluttering, getting the
Yeah.
house staged, ready to come to market. And it's
Yeah,
not
fresh
really,
paint coat, fresh coat of paint, whatever. Yeah.
right, exactly. So anyway, so those are our pitches. And we hope to see you next Monday, the fourth Monday of the month. We always do these market updates. And if you have any questions, by all means, reach out to us and we'd be happy to. Or if you have a topic that you want us specifically to address, by all means, let us know and we'd be happy to discuss that as well. But in the meantime, have a good day, have a good week, and we will see you next month. Bye
Yes.
for now.
Bye, everyone.